Hello there everybody. This video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be about action figures. I don't collect action figures all that much. I don't have the space for it actually, or the money. It's much more needed for records. If I find someone that is connected to any of my interests, and I find it at the thrift store for a very cheap price, I buy it actually and put it on the shelf because it's cool to have. So I have a very small section of action figures, but I had a conversation with Bad English Rex, Mr Finglish, in a video at the comment section maybe a week ago, and he had done a thread response about action figures and showed his action figures, and he challenged me to show my action figure collection. So I said, sure, why not? It's not going to be a long one still though. So it is connected to some of the interests that I have. And in this case is connected to my wrestling interest, my interest of the original Transformers series G1, and also some are also The Simpsons and Spider-Man. So let's go check my little small but still collection of action figures. Well, let's start with look at the complete collection. An overview. Here they are. As you can see, not a big one, but let's take a look at them one by one. Well, let's start with the Hot Rod. Roddy Piper, classic wrestling action figure. I bought this one in a toy store here in Sundsvall back in 1991. I remember that I was so amazed that I actually could find a WWF, as it was known as then, action figure at a toy store here in Sweden, when wrestling at the time wasn't all that big actually. So I was very happy. And they had two, I remember. I could choose between one with Andre the Giant and one with Roddy Piper, and Roddy Piper was more my favorite than Andre. Today I might be wondering why I didn't buy them both, but Roddy Piper is the first. Put it there. We have this one. This is Kerry Von Erich, the Texas Tornado. Also another WWF wrestler from around 1991. And I found this one at the Sundsvall Game and Record Market a couple of years ago for $5. And we have this one. It's a little bit larger, so I show him like this. This is the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels in his in a more modern D Generation X outfit. Real nice one. Interesting to see how much larger the WWF's newer action figures are comparing to the old ones. So put them there. This one might look like Hulk Hogan, but it isn't. This is an action figure that I got from the mother of one of my best friends, Otto, the man who taught me to like jazz. I remember it was an ending for the summer vacation. I think it was back in 1991 maybe. And she gave us one action figure each. He got more with dark curly hair and beard, looking like Hercules, and I got this one who looked like Hulk Hogan. But as much as they want to make him look like the Hulkster, this is, I think, one of these rip-offs from Asia. So, do you recognize them? This is the complete Simpson family. Lisa, Marge, Maggie, Bart and Homer. A collection I found about a year ago, I think. It was fun to have, as I do love The Simpsons. And along with it comes this one that I found maybe a couple of years ago. This is not an actual action figure, but it's fun to have.
Hey, it's your old pal Krusty.
Krusty the Clown, and he talks also.
Hey, it's your old pal Krusty.
So, really fun to have, my Simpson collection. Moving on to my Spider-Man collection, which is pretty small, but this is a giant Spider-Man that I found at the thrift store a couple of years ago. For, I think it was $5. They had one that was even bigger, but I thought that this one was suitable enough, actually. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And of course, he's gotta have a villain also, even though this fight might look a bit uneven with the giant Spider-Man and the little smaller Dr. Octopus. And Doc Ock actually has so much tentacles that it's hard to get him to stand up straight. He's pretty uneven standing. So, but it's really fun to find a Spider-Man figure that isn't just Spider-Man. It's not easy to find that, actually, especially not at Swedish thrift stores. So my Spider-Man collection is more or less Dr. Octopus and Spider-Man. Back in the late 80s, I was a huge Transformers G1 fan. Still am, until this day, actually. They were showing the cartoon at the Sky Channel every Saturday morning in the cable TV, and I watched I think almost every one of those episodes. And soon there was a magazine released here in Sweden, and I still have every one of these issues of the 80s releases of Transformers magazines. Of course, there were also Transformers action figures, but they were heavy expensive for me back then. So I started pretty slow. And at the food market that we had in the area where I lived, they actually had this one. This is not an actual Transformers. This is once again another of these cheap lookalikes from Asia, I think. It wasn't called a Transformer when I bought it, but it looked like a Transformer robot, so I still bought it. I didn't have high demands back then. If it looks like a Transformer, that was good enough for me. The arm here is a little bit is broken, but I managed to hold it together so you can at least have an arm or door. So he transformed into a truck. Pretty easy to transform without the head like that. It could be a Decepticon, maybe. They had an army of huge trucks. Later on, I managed to save some money to buy this one. This is an original Transformer. He could maybe be a part of his team, the Stunticons, because this is dead end of the Stunticon, a Decepticon, and I don't remember right now why of all Transformers there are, I actually bought a totally unknown Decepticon, because Dead End is definitely not the most famous of the Transformer robots. But here he is anyway, and so transform into a car. And back again. This one I bought about a year ago, and I bought it only because it had a Decepticon logo. It is actually not, it is a Transformer, but you can't transform him. It is plain only, and I was a little bit disappointed, but I saved it because it is a connection to the Transformers. This is from one of the Michael Bay movies. It's interesting that Michael Bay, when he did his Transformer movies, did release toys that couldn't transform. Really, really worth invested money. And here is what I consider maybe the pride of my small collection, because this is a genuine Optimus Prime. I found it at a flea market around 10 years ago maybe, and I paid only $4 for it, and the seller had no idea what actually this was. So I was a part of the discussion forum then for Transformers fan, and they were they were pretty envious of me of finding this for that low cost. I'm not going to transform him because it's going to take a while, but I can show this truck is also loaded with roll bar, with the weapons, really amazing. So also a heavy loaded truck that you can transform. So this was actually my little collection of action figures. Will there be more? Maybe. Depends on what I found at the thrift stores. I'm not looking that much, but if I ran into something, I go to the toy section every now and then at the flea market, at Erikshjälp and so on, and look around, but I don't putting any effort at this collection. But it's fun to find if I do something, and then I put it right here on the shelf and among the rest of them. So until next time, take care everybody. I hope that you are satisfied with my response. Mr. Finglish and everybody else. Bye bye.